Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marta, I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm very excited to finally have done a video on the Fiolety palette by Glam Shop, because I did one look ages ago, like probably like 2-3 months ago. It was before I even got the new marbles and turbo glows, and I just never ended up editing it, so I was just like, okay, I'll just do another look with it and film a new intro and outro. So finally I have done that. So today I'm going to show you two looks. I'm going to show you some swatches first and foremost, and then I will just talk a little bit about the palette and my feelings about this, because after using it the first time I was not completely sure about how I felt about it, but now using it a second time I feel like I have some thoughts about it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, just watch until the end. But now let's get going and start with the swatches. I'm just going to do some live swatches of this palette, so I'm just going to start here and go here, and then just do a row, each row, and then I will just make sure to build them up after each row, like you will understand once you see it. So I'm just going to start swatching these out, and I'll of course show you guys close up on my fingers like I like to do. Like, just look at how reflective that middle shade is that I used on my lid for today. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to turn down the lighting a little bit. Here you have those shades. Wow, they do swatch really nicely. But here you can see the sheerness of this one that you will be hearing about later in my video. Now this second row is this gorgeous light, kind of like purpley pink. Then we have this more just duochrome shimmer, and then this is a very sparkly duochrome shimmer, more cool tone than the previous one. They just are so beautiful. So here we have that light matte, the pink duochrome, and the purple duochrome. The last row is this beautiful duochrome light pink shade, and then we have this one, which is just a super deep satin purple. And then we have this warmer deep purple matte shade. So you really get some depth in this palette, that's for sure. And this one is just so beautiful, but very dry. So here you can see the whole palette swatched out, and it is such a gorgeous color story. You just have your cool tone, you have your warm tones, and just a ton of purple. And there are so many different formulas in here in regards to the shimmers, which I really like that. And yeah, I love this color story so much. And here with the flash on the side, so you can really see the sparkles in the shadows that have that, and also the shift, so you can definitely see that gold shift on this purple shimmer. And you can see that the mattes are relatively powdery, like I will say all except from the first one are quite powdery, like you can just see that they're a little bit sheer. And also this last one, I mean, it looks kind of pigmented right here, but I didn't feel like it was very pigmented because I had to build up the swatch a bit. The shimmers though, they're beautiful. They're so sparkly and gorgeous, and these are kind of like more toppery ones, these two, and those will like transform in just depending on what kind of base you use underneath them. So for example, if you use this one on top of this base or this base, it will look either more warm toned or cool toned, which I just really like. I really do like this palette, and I do think there are a lot of different looks you can make using this palette, although it's not one of my favorite palettes just because the formula seems a bit different from the other palettes that I have from Glam Shop. But I'll talk more about that later. But now let's just start with the two looks that I have made using this palette. So for this look I really want to go into this one for the lid, because it looks like it might be a lot more dimensional than you might think. So I want to, I think, use this one for the outer corner as like the deepening shade, and then a little bit of this one just to get some of the warmth together with this one for the inner crease. And then this one all over, and something else for my lower lash line. But I'm just starting with this cooler toned purple, and I'm using my 0104 brush, and it's a little bit stained, but I did make sure that it doesn't give off any of that warm color. My eyeshadow base today is the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow primer. It's the one in the shade Light. I feel like this one is maybe a little bit less opaque than what I'm used to from Glam Shop, so I'll just see if I'm able to like build it up a little bit. I'm definitely noticing that it's not as good as what I'm used to, but maybe it's just the formula doesn't really match that well to the primer that I'm using. I mean, it did build up quite nicely and I feel like it looks very good in the monitor. So I'm not going to say that it's a bad shadow yet. So I definitely feel like when I got it built up, it looks really nice, and I haven't even worked a lot on the blending and I still feel like it looks quite good. I'm now going into that Agate shade that was like a warmer purple, and I'm just going to add that like right about here. This one is like way more intense immediately, so this one I really felt like I had to build up a little bit. And I'm just going to have this as like a base for that lighter pink matte. Nothing more than this to begin with, and then I will be going into the lightest shade, Cayenne. By the way, for that shade I used my Sigma E30 brush, and now I'm going into my Glam Shop 022 brush with the shade Cayenne. And this one is super light. I typically love their light shades, so I'm really excited to see if this is as pigmented and opaque as the other light shades I have from them. I'm just going to drag it all the way over here and help the blending of the purple as well. Okay, so this is actually looking really good. I was a little bit worried because I felt like the deepest shades, like, I don't know if you can see it here, but they're a little bit thinner. So maybe these would actually work better on a more wet base than the others that I have from Glam Shop, because they work fine on a wet base, they blend okay, but I've noticed that they perform better on a dry base like the NARS base. So that's why I decided to use that for this purple look, but apparently this maybe would have been even better with a more wet primer. So I'm just going to go back into like intensify the first shades that I put down. I'm just going to use that same brush from Sigma right here, just because I want some more precision instead of using that blending brush that is a little bit bigger. I'm a little bit scared of what's going on right here on the outer edge. So I'm just going to tap down very carefully. And I think I'm even going to actually drag it down because I did add my eyeshadow primer here as well. So just before it completely dries down, and then I'm going back into that lightest shade to make sure the blend is nice. Okay, so as you can see, I did apply some glitter glue, and it is the Glam glue that I used. So I'm just using my Glam brush in, I think it's called 000, yeah. And I'm just going to like get this on my lid before the Glam glue dries, and it is so pretty. I'm just using my finger to really like foil the shimmer down, and then I'm just going to try to pack on right where I see like the sharper kind of edge here, because I prefer to have them a little bit less, like the edge a little bit less sharp. So I'm going to do the exact same on my lower lash line, but I will be going in with this shade instead because I feel like that is so spectacular. So you can here see a little bit of the shift that I'm talking about, but I'm just going to speed through using this, and then I'll finish the rest of my makeup and show you the close-up. that was the close-up of the look that I did. I ended up using my Swietlowka highlighting palette by Glam Shop as well with the shade Halogen. I think like I filmed it, so I probably added it to the video, and it's amazing. I also ended up using that one for my inner corner, and for my waterline I used Aurora eyeliner from Beautybay, which is like this really light purple eyeliner, which I really like for this look. And then I used the gel liner from Glam Shop called Bitter for the upper lash line right here. And for my lips I used Good and Plenty lip liner by Colourpop in combination with the lip gloss right here from Kaleidos makeup. It's their Lucid lip in Crystalize, which is like, it's basically a see-through gloss, but it has like these gorgeous sparkles that go from, I think it's like a teal to green and then pink. It's kind of hard to describe and you can't really see the sparkles that much, but it's just, I love the like the lip gloss formula from Kaleidos makeup. I'm ready to start with this look. So I'm going to take this deepest shade, and I'm quite sure I want to use this one and this one as other mattes. And I'm also really excited to try, if we can focus, this one, which seems more of like a duochrome shimmer, but it looks like it will be super shiny. And then maybe this one for the lower lash line. So I'm just taking my brush from What's Up Beauty. This is the R103 brush. It's kind of like a bigger blending brush, especially for me and my eyes. This is a bigger brush, but I'm just using it to place down this deepest shade in the outer corner. As you know, Glam Shop shadows are very powdery, so I do have some fallout, but that's why I always do my eye makeup first, so I never have to worry about ruining my face makeup. So I really have no idea. Like, I think I want to do just a classic look with like a deeper outer corner and a lighter inner corner. So I just wanted to give this palette like another, like I wanted another experience with this palette. That sure is a beautiful color and it blends out perfectly fine. It is also quite pigmented. It's like a mixture of like pigmented and buildable, because you can like blend it away a little bit, but it also builds up super easily. I should have used like a smaller brush for the outer corner, but I guess we're going quite smoky today then. So I think I'll say that's enough with this shadow for now. Now I'm taking my Glam Shop 004 brush, which is like a tapered brush, and I'm going in with this shade, which is just such a gorgeous purple shade. It's like one of my favorite purple colors, and I don't remember how this one performs. Well, that looks kind of promising. It's a little bit powdery as well, but that to me is just perfect because that means they have a lot of pigment. Well, I do see that it looks a little bit patchy. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a look that is very similar to the other one, because it's such a long time, I don't even remember how it looks. Well, yeah, you can see that it's a little bit patchy right there in the crease, because, well, that's where I had the primer, so I don't know if it has something to do with that, but it blends really nicely, and like, I'm going to cover up most of that anyway. So I just need like the blend to be really nice, and it really does blend nicely. I'm also just going to overlap it a bit here, because you can see that this shade is a little bit warmer. I mean, I do feel like these are a little bit more sheer than the other Glam Shop shadows. Like, you can see that it's getting kind of odd the longer I have it on. So I do remember feeling a little bit like not so sure about this palette and how I felt about it, but we will continue and see. I mean, it is looking really beautiful. It's just like when I look super close up, I can see that it's not like the most covering pigments, and I'm kind of used to Glam Shop being super opaque, because you can like see that I'm adding more now and it adds to the opaqueness. So yeah, I don't know if these just have a little bit more of like filler or binding powders, because those are mostly like more invisible. And then you have the pigment in the formula that actually gives the color and opaqueness. And I know that there are different like filler pigments that also give more opaqueness. Like, for example, kaolin clay I think gives quite a lot of coverage, but it's also white. So now I'm just going to take my 022 brush, and I'm going to use this one, which is like the lightest transitioning shade, and I'll just use that to work on the blending right here. So I have already gone in a few times like with that deepest shade, and you can see that it's patchy. Like in the very outer edge right here, it still looks good. So if I do cover it up with some shimmers, I think it will be fine, but it kind of just disappears by itself, even though I'm not like doing anything, and I'm not sure if it's helping or not that I keep on packing it on, because you know, sometimes that really messes up because it kind of just takes away the powder that you have laid underneath. So yeah, I don't love this matte shade, and I'm not sure if it's the same with the lighter purple. I feel like it's looking a little bit better, but I don't think I would trust any of these to like do a full-on matte look. But yeah, I'm going to take the same brush that I used earlier, the 022, and I'm just going to place the cool toned purple underneath here. And I still wouldn't say that these mattes are bad, because you can see that they blended beautifully. It's just that they are not as impactful as I'm used to with my Glam Shop shadows. Just because I'm used to like full-on pigment and just slightly blending them, because they blend really nicely and I don't typically have to like go back in several times. But you can see that this actually performs really nicely. I have a lot of pigment there. So I think maybe it is the deepest shade that I don't love. I'm just trying to figure out like what is it about this palette that makes me go a little bit like Oh, but this color, you guys, it's so stunning. I'll just go ahead and use the shade Crystal right here on top of my Glam Shop Glam Glue, and I think I'll use this one for the lower lash line. I think that's the same I used in the other look though, but this one is so beautiful. Glam Glue is on, and I'm just picking up the shimmer shade. It seems like a metallic actually, and it's really beautiful. Oh, but this one also seems a little bit powdery. I'm just taking some of that product on my finger to kind of like foil it, because I feel like it was looking a bit uneven in the outer corner here. So this one doesn't look sparkly at all. It just looks very like metallic. It has a super strong duochrome gold to it, and I do really like this color. It's just a little bit drier. As you can see, I have a ton of fallout right here, but I do like the color a lot. So I'm basically done. I need lashes still, and I just put some Glam Glue on top of my Urban Decay Free Base primer, and now I'm putting the pigment Arctic from Glam Shop, one of their new, oh my god, that's so beautiful, one of their new loose dusts, I think it's called, and this is the first time I'm trying it. And this one seems to be like shifting from blue to pink maybe, and that's just perfect for a purple look. So I just had to try this out, because the palette doesn't really have like a iridescent shade for inner corner highlights. So yeah, I'll just add some lashes and show you the proper close-ups of this look. That was the close-up of this look, and I know I talked a lot about it like during the video about how I felt like the shadows weren't like super opaque, but they were blending nicely, and I still feel that way. But when I look at this look, I don't feel like you can see at all that I kind of didn't have that, like that I didn't necessarily struggle, but that I had to like pack on color, because I feel like this look is just so beautiful, if I can say so myself. I feel like the colors are super vibrant and just go so perfectly together, and I just love how this ended up looking, even though I felt like the shadows weren't like super pigmented to begin with. So I would not use this palette if I want to use a or do a fully matte look, but I would use this palette for any kind of look like this, which is what I typically do with shimmers or sparkles on the lid. Then I feel like these blend beautifully into each other and alone, and I just feel like the color story itself is really beautiful. And obviously I didn't use the more warmer toned pink shades, but I am very, very happy with the other shades that I used, like how they look. But again, it's not the typical Glam Shop shadow formula. I feel like this is a little bit sheerer. You have to build it up, but it's still beautiful. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this palette and the look that I did, and I will just leave all the products that I used for my face down below in the description box. I did use a Colourpop lippy pencil. I'm not sure what kind of shade I used, so like who even cares about that. The lipstick was the Proper Beauty one in Finesse, and then I used my Nude Tude Sweet Cheeks blush from NYX Cosmetics, and for my highlight I actually used their Swietlowka palette from Glam Shop in the shade Halogen, which is like the one I always turn to if I do a purple look, because I just love that highlight so much. And I will say I do love the pigment that I tried for the inner corner. It's really like fine and super reflective and sparkly. Like you can even see it right here. When the light hits it, it's just so stunning. And yeah, I just feel really nice in this makeup. And I do feel like the lenses that I put on, they fit this look so much, because they're kind of like brown towards the middle and then purple towards the outer corner. But I will be going to work, so I will be removing them very soon. But I did like that little touch. But yeah, I guess that's it for this video. How do you think, like, what is your impression of this palette after seeing me use it for these two looks? Would you pick it up yourself? Do you like the color story? Because I really love the color story of this palette. But I would be very interested in hearing your thoughts about this palette, especially if you have tried it yourself. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. And I hope you have a great day. Bye!